And we are live. Excellent, excellent. I'm just double checking here. Always those couple seconds to make sure. And yes, we are. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to put us on big screen here, speaker, and record. Awesome. We are live. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to be back in action. Actually, we had a little break for a month. And so I'm happy that I have this amazing guest back with me today on a very special day, actually. But welcome to be back. Hold on one second. This is why we have to double check this. So I'm happy. Nope, you're going away. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna start again because I can just edit that out for the podcast. So I'm very excited to be back after a few weeks of having some time off of the show. And I wanted to bring somebody really, really special today. So I'm very, very excited on this special day, and you'll hear more about why. But Alyce Dailey, thank you so much for being our guest today on the show.
Oh, what an honor. Always fun to talk with you, Melanie.
You know what? I just say I have this so I can just meet with all my favorite people and share them with the world, right?
That's the best. I love it.
Right? Just create a show and a podcast, and then you get to interview really cool people. But you know what? Today, besides knowing who you are, because you are amazing for many reasons, and you are a very powerful woman. You're very inspiring. You inspire me. You're very articulate. You have a big success story behind you. And today is a very special day because you just released. Is this your first book?
It is my first book. Yes. So I've been known. So some people know me as a coach. Some know me as a realtor or an entrepreneur or a wife or a mom. And today gets to be author.
This is so exciting. So I'm so excited that we're actually recording this. So those of you listening later on the podcast, that we're recording it right now, as it literally just went live. 3 a.m.
live, 3 a.m. The paperback was released. So it's real. And like you order it on Amazon Prime and it shows up on Friday. So I'm super excited.
Well, that is what I'm doing right after this interview. I will be going in and ordering a bunch of copies for people, but we're going to talk about your new book. But first, let's start it with you, because I just think, you know, the reason I created this podcast and this show is all about getting great stories out in the world of people doing really great, positive things, because, you know, every day we have a choice. Right. And life is a choice. And you are such a great example, Alyce, of somebody that lives with a playing to win mindset. So would you just tell us a little bit about who you are and introduce yourself to our listeners today?
I'd love to. So Alyce Dailey, I am born and raised at Baltimore, Maryland. And Seth and I, we met in college a bunch of years ago. We've been married for 22 plus years now.
And, congratulations.
Thank you. We have 4 daughters, 19 down to 10. And we grew a really awesome real estate business in Baltimore. So I started in real estate 18 years ago. Seth joined me 3 years in. He's got the systems mind. So he was all about building it. I'm the shake hands, kiss babies, build by relationship. I'm a referral girl. So we built our business based on having parties and just having people over and building community. We joined KW in 2012, the year our 4th daughter was born, and launched a market center the next year. So we've got a market center where Seth is the OP. We run a team there. And by all accounts on the outside, we've spoken on panels and we did the whole speaking circuit across the country. And by all accounts, people would look at my life and say, oh my gosh, so amazing. And it was. And yet I was really unhappy. There was something when I got to this point of like, yeah, but I can buy all the shoes, I can have the purses, we can go on trips. And something just wouldn't give, like something just in me was really unhappy. And so around 2016, I kind of knew it, but I felt trapped by my own business. I was really close to replacing myself with a buyer's agent, and Seth was close to replacing himself with a listing agent. And I remember the day that the buyer's agent was like, you know, I'm going to go off and start my own thing. And it just deflated me to the point of like, I don't know if I can do this again. I don't know. And I just lost a bunch of steam. So I started looking at like, what are other things that I could do? Like, where can I reignite this passion? And I've always believed in coaching. I actually got a coach the month before I got into real estate, which saved my life, right? Like, I just think everybody needs good coaches. But I just started exploring different things. I went and climbed Kilimanjaro with a bunch of women, and we raised money for women, gender-based violence in war zones. So I did that, and just like started trying a bunch of other things to figure out, okay, what's next? And I really hit this burnout stage in 2018. And through a bunch of conversations and counseling and Seth and I talking about, hey, what do we want for our life? What do we want for our family? We kind of did the unthinkable in real estate world because realtors don't move out of their geographic area. And I finally got to the point where it's like, you know what? I think I really want to move. And so we moved and we live in Austin now. Seth still runs our team in our market center from a distance. And we did all that
in Baltimore, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in 2019, we started this move and we didn't know how it was going to go. We just didn't know. But I realized that taking the risk to do it, I would rather fail and have tried than to never have tried, because I didn't want to live a life of regrets and wish that we had done something differently years down the road. And we wanted to model something for our kids of you never stop living life, and you don't need to ever feel trapped. You always have choices. Even when you feel like you don't have a choice, you have a choice. So we made some really hard choices.
I love this so much. I can't, and I want you to keep talking, but I want to just break that down a little bit. Okay. Because you and I, my dear, have known each other a few years, and you and I actually had a conversation. I think it was 2018 when you got here, and you were really at this turning point in your life of, on the outside, the exterior world, what's around you. Everybody would look at you and Seth like, oh man, that's the couple. They have it all, right? They have everything you could ever, they have major success in every element. You're this beautiful, articulate woman. You have amazing skills on, you always lead people with you, right? You're just this light in the world. And yet your internal light was really, you were really in a burnout mode, right? And I remember you and I having that conversation in Wendy Papazan's office, just you and
exactly. I remember that.
And it's been so beautiful to watch you. And I love that vulnerability and that transparency, because I think a lot of people feel like that, Alyce.
Oh, they do. Because we put people on stages and we're like, oh, I want to be just like them. And the more I got to know some of those people, it was like, wait, but they don't even want to be them. So why are we trying to be them?
That's right.
And that story would play over and over again until I just turned inward to say, hey, what's authentic to me? What do I really want? What are my core values? And how do I live true to those values and not worry about what people are saying on the outside?
Yeah, that's a big one. That's such a big one. What are people saying on that? Like that thought of what are people saying on the outside? It's so irrelevant, isn't it? It's irrelevant. And we put so much power into that. Why is it? Is it a woman thing? Is it? I don't know what that is, but I had the same thing, right? And it's like, why do we do that?
Yeah. It's what are people going to think? What are they going to say? And here's the thing that happened. Here's what happened. The moment we made the move and we started telling people about it, people are like, oh my gosh, I wish I was brave like that. Can you tell me how you did it? How'd you have the courage? And I'm like, wait, all of these people are unhappy too? Yeah. It's that whole idea, when we let our light shine, we give others the permission to do the same.
Yes. Oh gosh, that's one of my favorite quotes, so what happened when you guys came to Austin? Because I know it just wasn't super easy overnight, right? Because that was a bit of a mess, right?
Oh my gosh, it was a total mess. And part of the mess was created by us because we were scared, because we were fearful. What do we tell our clients? What do we tell agents in the market center? And we didn't navigate that well. I would do it completely differently now. But there was this point of like, I'd rather light a match to the whole thing and live true to who I am than pretend that everything is great. And if we had just been authentic about it, and I'll speak for myself, if I had been authentic about it from the beginning, I think, things would have been easier for us. So at the beginning, Seth was flying back it was like long weekends. It was like 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, 3 days. And Austin to Baltimore is not a short trip. So it was exhausting for him. It was exhausting for us as a family. We were living in a little 3-bedroom apartment with 4 kids and a dog in Austin, and trying to figure out how to make all of this work. COVID happens in the middle of all of it. You don't know how anything's going to go during COVID. And finally, in fall of 2020, we're like, oh my gosh, COVID's actually making it possible. Like the opportunity for realtors, I think in particular, to go do something different. The opportunity was there because now people don't need to see you face to face. So how can we use this to our advantage and live in Austin and be able to see people over Zoom? Like we don't actually need to meet with clients, even if you live in the same town.
You couldn't meet with them for a while. Right?
Life changed. So
Life changed.
It really helped us.
Yes. So what's different now? What is your lesson from that? Because I think it takes a lot of courage to move. I've done that multiple times in my life. So I appreciate that in other people that will uproot their life and start somewhere new. Like what was your, because fast forward to where you are today, right? So while we're recording it, it's September 2022. Where are you now though? Because you got through all that chaos. Where are you? Tell us about your life now today.
Yeah. So life now, I've been coaching for 3 years. So I coach on the MAP side. So agent coach there. I also coach around the new concept of my book, Magic Mom, because moms really are where my heart is, helping moms navigate a whole bunch of hard stuff and how do you parent and how do you raise really great kids in the midst of it. So actually making the transition gave me the mental space to be able to start writing. I needed to, a lot of times we want to know what the next thing is before we let go of what we have. And that's not how life works. You got to let go first to be able to grab onto the next thing. It's like a trapeze. Like you have to let go of one to be able to grab onto the other, because our minds are just so cluttered and busy that the space for creativity to come is never, it's not going to be there until we let go. So I had to let go to create the space to be able to just sit there and say, okay, what's next? And that's when the book came. And that was fine.
Yeah, I bet, just gave me chilly bumps, because when my question I was going to ask you was, when you and I sat together in Wendy's office, did you know you had a book within you?
I did. I knew there was something there, and I was trying to force it. And I was trying to force it in my little time blocks of, well, I've got 30 minutes here and I've got 30 minutes here. And that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Because I lived life at such a fast pace for so long. And I write about this, that busy was a way that I behaved, so I didn't have to feel. But until we can feel, we can't do any of that other stuff. And feeling might be, hey, things that we need to heal from, things that we need to face, things we need to confront. But we're in an industry that's rewarded for the busy. If I walked into your real estate office and I'm walking around with a couple handles of Tito's, like, I hope you get me some help, right? Maybe after you get a glass, I don't know, right? But,
depends on what time of day.
but it's like, there are things that we'll do to go get people help when we see that's a solution.
Yeah.
But the busy, if I walk in and say, hey, I took 10 listings and I did this and I did this and I did this, we're like, oh, how can I be like you?
Yeah.
And that's not living.
Alyce, I love this topic today. I love it so much. And we're going to go so many different directions with this, because I want to pull some things out of your book and stuff like that. But that's not living. And I think that if we surveyed the whole world today, and if we had the ability to survey every human being today, I think a lot of people are feeling the way you felt in 2018.
I think so. Because the more I share it, the more people that I wouldn't even expect to say something about it or raising their hand, and they're like, yeah, me too. Me too.
And awareness, self-awareness is the first step to any kind of thing. And when we talk about life by design and having your best life, it starts within, right? I mean, like, your happiness is an inside out job, right? And so that's why I love your message. And I love that you say, when you let your light shine, you're giving other people permission to do the same. I do that. I talk about that all the time.
Mm-hmm. So many of us don't know what makes us happy, because it takes space to actually figure that out. We know what the world says should make us happy, and a lot of us have it and we're still not happy. So what's going on that we don't actually know?
Yeah. And that we're ignoring, or we've ignored it so long, we forgot that was part of us, right? And I think that's what happens. We lose our identity, right? And you talk about that a little bit. Well, let's talk about, okay, so why this book? Let's talk about the book that just released, 3 a.m. this morning, The Magic Mom by Alyce Dailey. Go on to Amazon right now and listen to this. If you're listening on the podcast later on, you can do it when you're not driving or whatever. But if you're in front of your computer, go on Amazon, order it right now so we can blow it up and get her to the top 10 list.
So the book came, so it was reflection of, because I think all of us have this genius right in front of us, but it's so close to us that we don't even know it's there, because to us, it feels like breathing. And that's what it should feel like. But we don't see it in ourselves because it feels like breathing. And we just make the assumption, well, yeah, but that's normal. Everybody's got that. And that's what we don't see in ourselves that other people see in us. So I just started asking reflective questions. And I was actually listening to a podcast. I think it was Hal Elrod. I think it was a Miracle Morning one. And it was just around like this whole idea of genius being right there. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the question that people ask me the most? What question do I get asked the most about? And I think that's a great reflection question that any of us can ask. What do we get them asked the most about? Because I think it leaves clues. And I'm like, oh, well, that's easy. The question people ask me the most is, how did you guys raise 4 daughters that are curious and kind and generous and adventurous and entrepreneurial minded? I'm like, oh, well, that's easy. And so I just started to literally talk into a little recorder. And I said, well, here are all the things that we did. And that's where the principles of magic came up. So the Magic Mom, magic is an acronym for model, affirm, grace, inquire, and coach. So the book is based around these 5 principles to unlock your natural gifts to raise entrepreneurial daughters.
I love that. In fact, let's just stick on that for a minute. So you say model, it says, how am I modeling who I want my daughter to be as an adult? And if you have sons, you can, all of this can, I don't have girls. I have a granddaughter, so I'll definitely read it. But I look through it and, this is for anybody. Yeah, honestly, if you don't have kids, this is going to benefit you. This is a book for everybody. So don't let the daughter thing throw you off, because there's so many good nuggets in here. So you say M for model stands for how am I modeling who I want my daughter to be, or whoever's watching you to be, right? As an adult, who's a model for me in this season? And for A and for affirm, you say, what affirmation can I speak aloud to allow my subconscious to help me find the answers I need? So let's go back to model. Explain that a little bit more about the modeling.
Yeah. So I think when people pick up a book, like we pick up, especially as moms, we pick up a book of like, okay, I'll go do this for my daughter. Right. And I take the spin in this book of, hold on, we'll get to the daughter, we'll get to the child, we'll get to whoever else, but that's going to be secondary, because mom, we're going to take care of you first. And even let's back up to even to the epigraph of the book, because a lot of this is built around Jung's quote of, the greatest burden on a child is the unlived life of a parent. So this book is about mom coming back to life so that everybody else around us can live. Because when we get into motherhood, is that where martyrdom starts? Like, do we become martyrs the minute we become mothers? And a lot of it is because that's what was modeled for us. I mean, I'd raise my hand and say, yeah, mom was a martyr. Like, she always put herself second behind me. And I look at that, I'm like, well, where am I doing that? And how do I want to grow? How do I want to be different? Because that was what got me up Kilimanjaro on the moments that I was like, I'm not going home and telling my girls that I didn't get to the top. I'm going to go model this for them. So am I the kind of adult that I want my daughter to be? Am I the kind of adult that I want the people that are watching me to be? Do we believe that we're either growing or dying? Because if we really believe that, we have to have models in front of us. And I think when we hit adulthood, we somehow think like, oh, well, I'm good. Like I'm an adult. I don't need a model. Yes, you do. Who's gone before you? These are our shortcuts. It's why we're at a company that we're all about systems and models. This book is a system. It's a model of not telling you what to do, but hey, how can we think about this differently? So that you can be the kind of person you want to be, so you can raise the kind of adults that you want to have.
Oh gosh, that's so good. Just transparency with me, I wish I had your book 10 years ago. I wish I had it 10 years ago. My children are now grown, right? Well, you're never done being a parent. You're never done being a parent. They're 18 and 21. So they very, very much still need their parents, right? But, I modeled for my children how to be successful. I modeled to my children how to be kind, how to care about others, and all those things. I did not model to my children how to have a happy relationship with my spouse. And so I literally just 5 months ago, left a 25-year marriage. And it took me 10 years too long to do it because of what I thought people would think. Yeah. And I thought you get married, you stay married. I grew up with divorced parents, and I didn't like that modeling of the divorced life of, having to choose between mom and dad for holidays. I didn't want that. And I also was married to somebody who was European, who then they really didn't have a dad. And it's so interesting to talk to them about the modeling that I did about the marriage. And I said, please don't let us be that example for you. Right. And so we talk about that because whether you know it or not, you're modeling I've knocked it out of the park in so many categories,
Yeah.
but this one, it's like, so I love, and you and Seth, I think what you're modeling for your daughters is that sometimes relationships are hard, but you know what, you guys just lean in together and work through it. And I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And all transparency. And you and I had this conversation was 2018 when we were talking. I'm like, I'm so unhappy. And Seth asked me, he said, are you unhappy with where we live? Are you unhappy with the business? Are you unhappy with the marriage? And I was so deflated. My answer was yes, all of it. I was ready to put all of it on the table because I was so crispy. I was so burned out that I couldn't even sort out any of those pieces. And thank God I was married to somebody that was willing to fight and stay in it and have the conversations. And it doesn't always work out that way. And for us, we model for our kids, hey, they saw a lot of fights. And we're able to talk about it as a family now. Yeah, that was a really hard season. So you're modeling for your kids now, like, hey, let's talk about it. Because how many families don't ever talk about it? Don't talk about money.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's so healthy for them. Like, because you know what, when you get divorced, you're the family's getting divorced. It's not just the couple, the family. And so it's so interesting, all the conversations I've had with my sons over this, and at the end of the day, the kids just want you to be happy. They just want you to be happy. Right. And they're like, Mom, we were there. We saw the fight. Right. And you think, oh my gosh, I did not have my children fooled. Right. Not one bit. And so it's been so healthy for all of us, because what I'm modeling now is honesty, transparency, fighting for myself first. Like I deserve to be happy. And so I kind of hope that I would make up for the bad model.
This is that whole idea of the greatest burden on a child, the unlived life of a parent. They're seeing you live. And so much of the message of this book is that it's never too late to live a life that you love. So if you're listening right now and you're like, yeah, there's a lot of things I don't love. Like, I think a lot of moms, especially when you hit around 40, you're like, is it too late? And the answer is 100% not too late.
Right.
If you're still breathing, yes, you can live a life that you love. You have choices.
Yeah. Isn't it? And Alyce, I run into people and they say, gosh, you seem so happy. I'm like, I am. And I feel bad. And I, hope my ex isn't listening, but it's just this, it's because I'm living in my truth and I'm so happy. And I have people that I talk to about, because then, when you go through a divorce, people open up to you about what they're going through. And I say, listen, either fix it now, but don't waste another 12 years like I did, like just do it now. And everything's timing. So but modeling matters. So whatever you're doing, whether you're modeling or not, that's just why I wanted it. You're modeling, right?
You are. So if you're modeling, you might as well have somebody that you are looking at as a model. And looking at that in all areas of life, like, who are my models when it comes to my relationships? Because you have them, whether you think you've got models or not, you definitely do. And they might be antiquated.
Right.
So let's get some new ones on purpose. Let's choose them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about affirm. So what affirmation can I speak aloud to my subconscious to help me find the answers I need? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So affirmations, we all have those little voices that are playing soundtracks in our head 24/7. So if you don't think you have affirmations, spoiler alert, you do. Let's make sure they're the right ones. So when I climbed Kilimanjaro, I was hearing affirmations in my head from being a child, and like, oh, well, nobody in our family is really athletic. Oh, well, you've never really been good at that. So why would I go climb a flipping mountain, right?
Sounds great, right?
Because I was looking at becoming somebody different. I was not in the shape or the mental space to be able to go climb a mountain, but I liked the person I would have to become in order to do that. And that's all mindset. So where is our mindset off on things? Where do we as moms, as parents, want to shift that? And the cool thing about affirmations is you don't even have to believe them, because your subconscious can't take a joke. So you don't have to believe it.
I love you. So you might as well tell yourself good things, right? Because
you might as well tell yourself good things. And watching your words around your kids, what are you affirming that you might not even realize is negative, that might be planting seeds that they'll hear years from now?
Yes.
Because we have the power to shift it. They're just words. And yet they're just words, right? The words matter.
And how powerful they are, right? I love that. Oh, okay. So G for magic stands for grace. Who can I extend grace to in this situation and moment?
We're so good with extending grace to other people, especially as moms and especially to our kids, that I don't even want to talk what we get into a little bit in the book, but grace for us as women, as moms, we wouldn't let other people talk to us the way that we talk to ourselves, right? Or we wouldn't let people talk to our kids the way that we talk to ourselves. So what does grace look like for us? What does self-compassion look like? Self-compassion could look like sitting in your driveway for 20 minutes before you walk in the house. I used to do that all the time. Could be going and just having coffee by yourself and turning your phone off for 30 minutes, going and journaling. There are things that I think we have confused as luxuries that are actually maintenance. So your car, when the little light goes on and you get an oil change, we go get the oil changed. But what are those things for us that are an oil change that we're making seem like are luxuries? Getting our hair cut, getting our nails done, getting a massage, going to the chiropractor, going to the dentist. Those are not luxury things. Those are flipping maintenance. Can we call them what they are?
The amen, sister. Absolutely. Right. But why do we make that such a big deal? And I always do those things outside of my work time too. Like, why do I do that in my personal time? Because I can't. And that's just so, that was a big aha for me on that.
Yeah. So when will it click for us that no, this is what I need to keep my engine running. My body doesn't work if I don't fuel it well, if I don't take care of it well, if I don't know how to take care of it, because as we age too, we need to do different things.
Yeah, this is true, my friend. This is very true. How about I for inquire? What new questions could I ask to open up more possibility?
So asking questions is the best way to change the future. We can absolutely change the future just by framing questions well. And the skill of learning questions and being able to ask a good question, it really is a skill that I wish was taught more. So we actually send our kids now to a Socratic school where they can't even, it's a fireable offense for the guides at school to answer a question. So when my 5-year-old went in the first day, she's like, what time is it? Well, who wouldn't tell a cute 5-year-old what time it is, right? We'd all tell her what time it is. Well, they said, have you checked your Chromebook? Because it's teaching you how to think without giving you the answers. Because our kids are, they're so wildly smart and they're so capable of so much more than we give them credit for. What kinds of questions can we ask them that will help us get to know them better? What if we came from curiosity and not judgment? There are a lot of times where I already know the answer or think I know the answer of what they're going to say, so I don't ask the question. But what happens if you ask the question anyway? What might you learn?
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay. And the last one on magic is C, and that stands for coach. How am I showing up as a coach to my daughter right now? Who's coaching me to become the best version of myself?
Yeah. So we know that we're coaches for our kids, and coaches do a couple things, right? Like coaches are really vested in the outcome of the game, as opposed to a consultant. A consultant come give you some options and say, hey, where's my paycheck? Good luck. Hope it goes well. And then mentors, they just kind of tell you a story and like, here's what I did. Hope it works out for you. As a coach, we only have from birth to 18 to be a coach. Once they leave our home, if we've done the coaching part well, they'll come back to us as consultant. So having launched one child into the world, the best phone calls are the ones she's like, hey, mom, what do you think about this? What would you do here? Like, I've got this and this, and I'm thinking about, but I've earned that because I was a coach in those 18 years prior. Now, to be a good coach, though, who's coaching us to learn how to ask the good questions, to be detached from the outcome, and to really be curious? And when we want our emotions want to take over, and to like, okay, keep the emotions behind. How do I coach through this situation so she can self-discover the right answers? How do I hold up a mirror to herself? Because I believe that she has the right answers in her already and she knows.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead to chapter 3, which is called Lead. And that one stuck out for me. So I want to just read a little excerpt from your amazing book. So the quote that you picked is at the top. I love how you had quotes on each one that were by very fabulous women. This is from Sheryl Sandberg, who we all know from, awesome CEO in our world. Leadership is about making leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence. I love that quote. But I love the story too that you share here. And you say, excuse me, when Laura was 11, did I say it right? Is it Laura?
Laura. Uh-huh.
Okay, I love the spelling. When Laura was 11, we walked into Five Below and she noticed a little wall hanging that said, "Life is short, buy the dress." She looked at it for a few seconds and said, "Well, that's dumb. It should say, life is short, own the company that makes the dress. That way you can have both."
Uh-huh.
She just moved on and went to look at another shiny object that caught her attention. But I stopped cold in my tracks. What just happened? I thought. How did her brain go there so quickly and effortlessly? I thought she just spit out in passing was one that would never, what she just spit out naturally would never have been something that I crossed my mind naturally. How did she connect the dots from buying a dress to owning the company that makes the dress? She was thinking bigger than I was, and I was quietly impressed.
Yeah. My gosh, I remember that moment like it was yesterday, because it was so different than what was modeled for me. It's no, you make money and you go buy the dress if that's what you want to have. And this was, oh my gosh, we've been taking her to personal growth stuff since she was like 7. So she saw people. And it wasn't just us modeling for her. It was all of the people that we introduced her to that she had opportunities to go see. Because we would, and we still, when we go to conferences and stuff, you go to things and there's a lot of times childcare provided, like, oh, you can pay to go do childcare over here. We never put our kids in childcare. We always paid for them to have the ticket to come with us. Even if they play on their iPad, we know that they're going to get something. And so we're just like, oh my gosh, this stuff works. They're listening, they're watching.
If that was not an affirmation and a confirmation of what you have put your daughters into, I don't know what is, because there are just those moments when your kids have those sayings that they say or whatever, you're just like, yes, there it is, right? There it is. That must have just, you must have felt so like just proud in that moment. Like, look at that. Look at my daughter. She's thinking bigger than me right now.
But yeah, there's that moment of like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Then there's that oh crap moment of like, I got to keep growing. Right? It's like, I got to keep up.
Yeah.
She's going fast, because when you're young, you don't have all the baggage that you do when you're older that you've got to get rid of, right? The number of limiting beliefs that I had to get rid of, and that takes so much more energy than for her, because she's just like, no, this is just the way it is.
It's the most natural thing. And then you go on a little bit later in the chapter that you say, lead yourself first. And you say, once you own the identity of a leader, the next question is, who do I lead first? Take a look in the mirror and start right there. You are the hardest person you'll ever have the privilege of leading. You are the CEO of your life. You have the ability and power to control your own resources. The CEO of a company oversees all components of a business. The CEO determines the vision, goals, and plan to achieve and grow. So what does it mean to be CEO of your own life? As CEO of your life, you determine the path towards success. No one can or will accept that responsibility. Sadly, however, many women never assume this role or identity. Instead, they wander through life much like aiming a bowling ball while blindfolded, hoping it hits a pin instead of ending up in the gutter.
We get to define what success means to us. And we tend to go through life allowing the world to define what success is. And that's when we get it. And then we're like, is this all there is? And it doesn't have to be that way.
You say later on, you say, gosh, sorry, my allergies are bad today. You say the key to your success is not mimicking others, right? Because we have to define it. What's that definition of success to me? What's the definition of success to Alyce? What's the definition of success to whoever is listening today, to you? And you say the key to your success and to what you actually want is in becoming more of who you already are.
Yeah. I remember when we tried to we're like, oh, we'll grow this really big, whatever. And then we started to try to do things like everybody else, like, oh, well, they're doing open houses and they're doing this and they're doing that. And how incongruent it felt for me. There was nothing wrong with those ways of building business. But for me, it was like, no, just keep throwing parties. Just keep gathering people together because it's fun, it's authentic. Feel like I get to be myself. So where are the areas of life right now where in your heart, other people around you may not know, where do you feel like you're not being yourself? And let that be a clue for you. Look at places where you might be jealous of other people, because I think that's a breadcrumb that leads you to something that you actually want that you haven't verbalized yet. So don't fight it. Don't be like, oh, I shouldn't feel that way. No, it's a clue. Follow the path. Get curious about your own life. Ask questions about your own life. Okay, so why did I choose this? Did I consciously choose it, or did it happen to me and I felt like I should? How many shoulds are there? We should all over ourselves all day long. Do I feel like that happened to me, or did I actually choose it? Because most of us are sleepwalking through life. We're sleepwalking. We go to school, go to college, maybe get a job, get the house, get married, have the baby. Script runs out. It's over. The people some of you might feel that way right now, like, yeah, and then what? And then you die. But what are all those pages in between those 2 points? And are you going to pick up the pen and start writing that story, or are you going to let somebody else write it?
And how beautiful those pages can be. Those pages can be some of the most beautiful of your life, right? And
they can be the best.
I love this so much. Okay, you talk about trauma in chapter 10. You talk about trauma. And this is the quote you chose is from Brene Brown, who, is a Texas girl, and I'm a big fan. She talks about a lot about shame. And if you guys have never listened to Brene Brown, she's got a great TED Talk. There's a lot of good stuff out there. But her quote that you chose is, one day you will tell your story of how you've overcome what you're going through now, and it will become part of someone else's survival guide.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, this is what my book is. It's a survival guide for somebody else, right? Because when you start to climb, like, throw it on the rope for somebody else, because somebody else needs it too. We're not the only ones. Like, I think there's a C.S. Lewis quote in there of friendship begins at the moment when someone says, you too? I thought I was the only one. And that's how we connect with one another. We don't connect with one another through our successes. Look how great I am. We connect when we share the real, the authentic, the pain, the struggle. That's when friendship happens.
It's a beautiful thing. And you talk about there's a lot of good in that chapter, but hard work versus heart work. Hard work versus heart work. And I love that. We talked about this kind of at the beginning of the show, but I was falling apart on the inside long before I fell apart on the outside. When I decided to climb Kilimanjaro in 2015, I can see now in retrospect that my soul was crying out for help. I was already crumbling internally. I just couldn't see it at the time. I was fixated on just being, quote unquote, fine. Instead, it took another 3 years, like we talked about in 2018, before I fell apart on the outside too. Though I spent a lot of energy and willpower to keep it all together on the outside, I finally ran out of gas. I hit a wall. I was tired, beyond tired, really. I was exhausted, sad, and even in despair.
I think women are wired to do hard work. That's why we have the kids, right? Like, we are wired to be strong beings, and we know how to work hard. I don't remember any classes in school that ever taught me how to work on my heart, and that what my heart had to say was important, and how to listen to it, to what it needed, and that taking care of it was an important thing to do.
Essential. Right?
We're not living if we're not taking care of our heart. So what does it look like to take care of your heart? And that's when I fell apart on the outside, that looked like, look, the word fine. Can we talk about the word fine for a minute? How many people have hidden behind the word fine for a number of years? My counselor once said, She's like, Alyce, fine is just the Christian F word. And so I was like, oh, all right. So it gave me a new context to think about it in, because every time I hear the word fine, I'm like, oh, okay, that's actually what it means. We're not fine. If I'm fine, I don't actually use the word fine. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a great day. Like, I have more vocabulary than fine to describe what's going on. So there's something with the condition of the heart, and it's not our fault. Like, there's no blame in that. But let's look at it. And I think a lot of us are just afraid to look at it.
Oh gosh,
of what we might find.
Yeah, that's so good. So good. I'm gonna remember that about the fine though, because it's true, because who says fine? Like, that's fine kind of means I don't either. Like, in a moment, that's fine. You don't really care. You're indifferent.
And that's a place of death. Indifference is death.
That's so good, girl. Okay. Chapter 11 is busy. We talk about this a little bit. We're so proud how busy we are. We put so much value on busy. And the quote you picked was Barbara Kingsolver.
I love this one.
As long as I keep moving, my grief streamed out behind me like a swimmer's long hair in water. I knew the weight was there, but it didn't touch me. Only when I stopped did the slick, dark stuff of it come floating around my face, catching my arms and throat till I began to drown. So I just didn't stop.
How many of us aren't stopping because we're afraid of drowning if we do? That's where I was. I'm like, I got to keep up this charade. Because how many people depend on me? If I stop, like, this whole thing stops, and I can't do that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that to the people that I care about in our business, and I can't do that to them. So I'm going to keep going. I wasn't helping them.
Yeah. At any
That's
cost.
That's martyrdom right there.
It is. And it's interesting. Yesterday I was in a regional event and Gary Keller, because we're South Texas, so we got lucky. It was a Keller Rooms International, so we had Gary Keller come in, Mark King, and Jason Abrams, and you come back to this whole, like, he's like, how is everybody? Gary starts it off in the morning, like, how are you doing? And it's just, if you're so busy and you're not taking care of yourself, like when Gary would always say, if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? Right? You've heard that forever. We've all been around that forever. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Right? Until it happens to you and you start having health issues and you're like, oh man, that's what he meant. And part of that is mental health and being happy. And being you. Success is being the best version of you. You touch on so many important things in here, and doing what you love, and Jason closed out the day, Jason Abrams, who's an amazing speaker, as you know, he's just an incredible guy. But he was talking, pulling out of a book, and it was, if you don't like what you're doing, so, like lead generation, if you're a real estate agent listening to this, or whatever it is that you do, if there's something you don't like doing, you have to change the way you look at it. You have to make it fun, because if you wake up every day going, man, I hate that I have to do this today, that's not healthy, right? And so if you gamify it, like you said, you don't want to cold call people. That's not who you are. That's not who Alyce Dailey, and that's not how Seth built his business. You guys had great parties, relationships. You're big on customer service, right? And it's fun because that's your thing, right? That's who you guys are. And so when you start piecing all these pieces together, what makes you happy? Why can't you be happy while you're working?
Absolutely. Most of our life is spent working.
Yeah.
How much of our days are spent working? To be miserable in it?
Yeah.
That's death. And we're fortunate, for those that are listening that are in real estate, we can create our business in any way that we want. There's no one right way to do it. So let's make it congruent to who we are, so that it aligns with our values, not is in conflict with our values, because 10 hours a day is a long time to be in conflict every day with yourself.
It sure is, right? It sure is. And I can't tell you how many people I talk to that they start the conversation with me with, listen, I know you're really busy. Listen, I know you're really busy. And I'm like, listen, stop saying that. I have just as much time as anybody else in one single day. Now, what I do with it is my decision. And some people are surprised to see that I'm pretty disciplined. And when I'm off, I'm off. Like I'm, but I've gotten to that. And you have a quote in here on page 142, or not a quote, but something you say is, busy, my friend, is an addictive substance that leads to death. No different than alcohol and no different than drugs. So like the goal in life is not to be busy.
No, it's to live and to live an abundant life, to live one of joy and delight. Because when you're doing that, you are being your authentic self. And that's what the world needs more of. We're not overwhelmed and tired because we're doing too much. We're just doing too little of the things that actually light us up, that we were put on earth to do. Somehow we feel like if it's fun and I enjoy it and it feels like breathing, that it must not be work.
Right? Like that's a bad thing. Like, my middle name is fun. Like I like to laugh. I like to have fun. And I know you have the same thing.
Yep.
And so I think people are surprised, like how much fun we have while we're working. Like, hey, if I can't laugh with somebody or have fun, like I just will lose interest. But I know that about myself. I'm at a certain point in my life where I'm very particular who I surround myself with and what I'll give my energy to and stuff like that. But that's taken a lifetime of work to get to where I'm today. And I'm still a work in progress. By no means have I mastered it all, but I know for me, it has to be fun. I have to have meaningful relationships in my life, or I'm not going to want to play the game.
No, it's not worth playing. Right? Like for me, I know my 5 core values and it has to fit within that, or it's a non-starter, because my saying yes to something that doesn't fill those values is me saying no to some other stuff that really would have fit those values and would have been far more enjoyable. And the world actually needs those things from me.
Absolutely. And because when you're in your element and you're in your zone and you're living your best life, that's a gift back to the world, because you're really in alignment with what you were born to do, really, right? Which we all have that. Every single person listening has something beautiful in them. And if you're not feeling that, this is where I really want these podcasts and conversations to mean something to you, to go internal, right? Because what Alyce is saying, I mean, you're such an inspiration of living your best life. And I've seen your transformation. You were already an amazing, powerful woman when I met you. But to see you today, my friend, my heart is exploding at just how happy. And I see you guys, you have all these different parties at your house and different things. You're living your best life. Your girls are thriving. Your marriage is thriving. Your business is thriving. How beautiful is that?
Oh, Melanie, I can't even tell you that I didn't know that I was that unhappy until I got to this other side, right? Like I drive home every day and I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to live here. Like I get to live here. And you know what? We made this happen. This wasn't going to magically happen if I had stayed just status quo. Like it took a lot of work to get there, but it took hard work. It took heart work. It took hard conversations. It took getting to know myself again. Who is this person that I have to live with every day? And then the rewards on the other side, I never would have been able to imagine them. Like I wasn't thinking big enough to think, oh my gosh, we could live this life.
And look at your life today.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. And you just published a book. Is there anything that you wanted to touch on from your book that I did not touch on? Anything you want to share?
My main messages for moms are really that it's never too late to live a life that you love. Like I want moms to hear that, because I hear so much giving up and just going along to get along, whether that's with kids or in a work situation that, just feeling unhappy, because our kids, this next generation is looking at us and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to do the same thing. So if we want them to be happy, a lot of us are willing to die for our kids, but are we willing to actually live for them and show them what a full life looks like?
Girl, you're speaking my language. It's never too late to live a life that you love.
Yeah. And there's
It's
And you
never
don't have
too
to make
late.
it up. And you don't have to make it up as you go along. There's actually a process, there's a system. It's why the book exists to help ask questions. There's reflective questions at the end of every chapter of just, hey, how can I look at this differently? So changing the way that we see where we are, because that's where we get stuck, right? It's like, well, this is the way it'll always be. There's an affirmation. Okay. Is it really though? Does it really always have to be like this? Where's my DNA in this? Where can I make some shifts? And we can't control, there's a lot of things we can't control, but we have so much control over what's right here. And really what's up here in our head is where it all starts. Where are our thoughts and where can we start to shift those? Because you start to shift your thinking, your whole life changes.
That's so good. I just love the story that Gary talks about all the time. And it's in the one thing about the, putting the man together and the world falls into place story, right? And I've talked about it on other podcasts, but that's exactly what this book is for. So this book really is more for you. This is for you, listener, whether you're female or male, this will help you. I have very dear people that are single dads. I have, right? I think this book honestly is for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. The messaging is for everybody.
Yeah.
It is under the guise of moms raising entrepreneurial daughters and their principles, right? Because principles don't change.
Yeah.
Principles, it's not like, oh, it only applies to these people. They're just laws of the universe that work.
Now, girl, I know that it just went live at 3 a.m. this morning. So I would ask our listeners to go and order one and read this and give a great review for Alyce. That would be an amazing gift for her giving us her time today. I kind of, though, am predicting there may be a workbook for daughters in your future.
It's coming, and there will be retreats for moms. There'll be retreats for moms and daughters. There's coaching. There's a master class coming. We got a whole thing coming down the line. So you can keep up with me on social media and on the website, alycedailey.com.
And why don't you spell that? Because you have a very unique spelling of your name.
I do have a unique spelling, AlyceDailey. So alycedailey.com. When you order the book today, go onto the website because there are bonuses there. So go get the free bonuses. For the realtors listening, hey, we can do book clubs. Use it to grow your business. For those of you that have relational businesses, get some for clients and start a little book club, because if you need this, who else needs this? The people that are in your communities. So you can be the change agent, and you can work on yourself while helping others work on themselves. Because we get to be at a company where personal growth is kind of our middle name, right? Like we get to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Most people never get any of it. So this is an easy entry into that for them.
Well, I love it. I think it's a gift to all of us. I appreciate you and being on your launch day here with me. I feel so special and privileged that I got to interview you on this very special day for you. You are a wonderful human being, and I'm honored to call you my friend. Any last thought you want to tell the audience before we close out the show?
Oh, just keep remembering, it's never too late to live a life you love. It's not just for everybody else, it's for you too.
So beautiful. Mwah! I'm going to go order right now. Thank you to all our listeners. We had a great people on our live that just thanked you. It was exactly what they wanted to hear. So thank you for your message today. And thank you for bringing more wonderful, beautiful things into our world and reminding us who we are. And it's never too late.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you, Alyce. I will see you soon, my dear. So great.
Bye.
Bye.